I was driving down a hollow road, a lonely stretch cutting through thick wood around 1 a.m. I had been at my sister cabin up in the mountains helping her fix up the place, and now I was headed back to the city. I am David, 33, used to late nights and late drives. It always gave me the chills and the creeps. The trees were so dense they blocked out the stars, and my truck headlights barely lit up the asphalt. The radio was just static no matter how much I messed with it, so I gave up and rode in silence, sipping up a warm energy drink. About an hour in, I saw something on the road ahead, a dark lum on the middle of my lane. I slowed down, thinking it was a roadkill. Maybe a deer hit by a semi, but as my headlights washed over it, my stomach turned. It was a deer, all right, but it was not just hit, it was torn apart. Guts spilled out, limbs twisted and half-chewed, the head barely attached. I have seen roadkill, but this was brutal, like something went on town with it with claws and teeth. A bear, maybe? But even that does not feel right. No bear would shred something like that and just leave it. I sped up, trying to shake the image, telling myself it was just nature being messy. I was getting tired, my eyes heavy from the long day. I knew there was a little hotel up ahead, the Pine View, a rundown spot for truckers and hunters. I just needed a few hours of sleep before finishing the drive. About 20 minutes later, I saw the neon sign flickering through the trees. Half the letters burned out, but it was open. I peeled into the gravel lot, grabbed my duffel, and headed inside. The lobby smelled like damp coffee and damp carpet. The guy at the desk, a skinny dude with a name tag that said Gary, looked twitchy, his eyes darting around like he was waiting for bad news. He checked me in quick, barely saying a word, his hands shaking as he gave me the key to room 12. The place was dead quit, just the hum of vending machine in the corner. I sat in a creaky chair in the lobby, waiting for my receipt, when the door swung open and a guy walked in. Big dude, camo jacket, rifle slung over his shoulder. Definitely a hunter. He nodded at Gary, who looked even more nervous, and they started talking in low voices. I couldn't help but overhear. The hunter, who introduced himself as Tom when I wandered over, was saying something about the woods. "Something wrong out there," he said, his voice rough. "Found 3 deers torn up like they were put through a shredder. Not a bear, not a cougar, something else." Gary just nodded, whipping sweat off his forehead, muttering about how nobody been hunting lately. I chimed in, mentioned the deer I had seen on the road. Tom's eyes narrowed. "Same thing," he said. "Too much blood, too much rage." He said he had been tracking whatever it was for days, but it was fast, just stayed out of sight. Gary cut in, voice sharp, telling us to keep it down, like he was scared someone or something might hear. We talked a bit more. Tom said the woods felt off, like the animals were spooked, even the birds gone quiet. I did not have much to add, just said the road felt creepier than usual. After a while, I was too tired to keep talking, so I grabbed my keys and headed to my room. It was a small, musty box with a lumpy bed and a flickering lamp. I locked the door, checked it twice, and crashed hard, still in my jeans. I woke up to a scream. Not human, not animal, just wrong, like metal and flesh tearing at the same time. It was coming from outside, maybe the woods behind the hotel. My heart was pounding, and I sat up. The room lit only by the faint glow of a street light through the curtains. I checked my phone. 3:17 a.m. The scream came again, closer, followed by a low, wet growl that made my skin crawl. I grabbed my pocket knife from my bag, not that it had do much, and peeked through the curtains. The parking lot was empty, my truck sitting alone in the flickering neon sign. But beyond it in the tree line, I saw movement. Something big, hunched, dragging itself through the shadows. I told myself to stay put, waited out till morning. But then I heard the thud against the wall, right outside my room. The whole place shook like something heavy slammed into it. I backed away from the window, gripping the knife, my breath loud in my ears. Another thud, then scratching, slow and deliberate, like claws dragging down the wood. The growling was louder now, right outside, and I swear I heard something, a voice, a distorted voice. It was hard to make sense of. I then pushed the dresser against the door, my hand shaking so bad I could barely move it. The scratching stopped, but the growling did not. It circled the hotel, slow and steady, like it was waiting. I sat on the bed, knife in hand, listening to it move, the sound fading, then coming back, never quite gone. My phone was dead, even though I had charged it before bed. The lamp flickered, then it went out, leaving me in the dark. Hours passed, or maybe minutes, I could not tell. The growling stopped, and the silence was worse. I kept waiting for another scream, another thud, but nothing came. When the first light of dawn crept through the curtains, I worked up the nerve to move the dresser and crack the door open. The hallway was empty, but the air smelled wrong, like burnt wire and blood. I grabbed my bag and crept to the lobby. Gary was gone. The front desk was trashed. Papers scattered, coffee mugs shattered on the floor. Tom's rifle was leaning against the wall, but he was nowhere. I did not stick around to look for them. I ran to my truck, my heart in my throat, and found something on the windshield. A black feather, too long and too shiny to be from any bird, smelling like the same wire-burned stink. I flicked it off and peeled out of the parking lot, not looking back. The road was empty, no sign of deer carcass from last night, just a faint smear of blood on the asphalt. Back in the city, I'm not sleeping much. Every night I have nightmares of that incident, and I'm afraid that one day, that thing will come for me.